I'm in a real bad mood today. I'm just going to tell you that. And it hurts me what I got to do because I got to I have some harsh words and anger toward Bernie Sanders, and it hurts me to say that because Bernie Sanders has been a pretty much hero of mine, almost a mentor of mine in the last 30 years. Pretty much everything I believe in the context of modern American politics I owe to Bernie Sanders. So I got to go and I got to criticize him because he's really made me angry today, this week, actually. It's not just Bernie Sanders I'm angry at. I'm also angry with the Justice Democrats, and I'm angry with Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. Why am I angry with them? Neera Tanden. Joe Biden appointed Neera Tanden for director of the Office for Management Budget. And the thing about it is that Bernie Sanders is planning to vote for Neera Tanden to fill in that seat. I think that maybe most of you know in my audience, since we all going to have pretty much the same kind of politics, or even if you're the curious conservative that comes in here knowledgeable of politics, know from my standpoint why I am angry. Because this translate what Bernie Sanders and Justice Democrats and the Young Turks are doing translate into a slap across the face of the American left that's fighting to try to seek radical change at this point within the Democratic Party to change the way things are done in Washington, D.C. today. It's not just the fucking Republicans that are causing problems, but a lot of Democrats too. A lot of corporate Democrats that we went and got the squad in there to try to go and change the way things are done in DC. I understand that it's not easy to be a member of Congress or in the U.S. House of Representatives or be a member of the U.S. Senate, especially if you got the politics of Bernie Sanders or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I understand that. But it's too much rolling around that more than I'm comfortable with. So I'm just really angry about this shit, and it saddens me for the very first time in my life that I have to do this because, as I said, Bernie Sanders has been an inspiration on me politically all these years, and it hurts me to say this, but with Bernie Sanders intending to vote for Neera Tanden. You want to know how crazy this is? This makes Ted Cruz or Mitch McConnell or some that dupe down in South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, people like that, and the worst Democratic senator in West Virginia, Joe Manchin. It makes them today, this week, a better person than Bernie Sanders because they're going to vote against Neera Tanden. Now they're voting against Neera Tanden for the wrong reasons. But at least with the wrong reasons, they're voting against Neera Tanden because they think that Neera Tanden is basically Bernie Sanders, a female Bernie Sanders, or an AOC. They actually think that Neera Tanden is far left. When Neera Tanden's politics on a lot of policies pinpoint coincide more with corporate Democrats like Joe Manchin or and scummy Republicans like Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and Mitch McConnell. I mean, it hurts me to say that about Bernie Sanders that he's less of a person today, this week. He is less of a person for voting for Neera Tanden than an asshat like some of these Republicans in the Senate or goofball in West Virginia, Joe Manchin. I mean, with Bernie Sanders, when I was in the Socialist Party USA in the 1990s, I had to defend Bernie Sanders nonstop from the hard left of the party that saw Bernie Sanders as a sellout, and he was not a sellout when he was a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. His voting record wasn't perfect. It was never perfect. You're not going to find an elected politician anywhere in this whole wide world, in any country, no matter how perfect their platform or their party is. You're never going to find an individual politician that's going to vote 100% the way a politician should vote. And I understand things are kind of hard for the average politician, especially if they have decent politics. But I was defending Bernie Sanders in the Socialist Party, and these are names many of you don't know. I was defending him from people like Eric Chester within the Socialist Party. I was defending Bernie Sanders against that goofball in Vermont, Peter Diamondstone, the late Peter Diamondstone. I was defending Bernie Sanders. And then out of the Socialist Party USA into kind of the normal world politics when Bernie Sanders decided to run for president. Then I had to go and start fighting with people who I would think would be kind of in the realm of my politics, but because they're concerned with identity politics, that somebody with a vagina that stands for bad things like Hillary Clinton is more important to get her in there, even though she's got bad policies, than to have a crusty old white dude who seems ancient. I mean, that kind of politics, And before anybody calls me a sexist or misogynist for saying this, I want to say this, and I'm speaking out of anger right now. I was disrespectful saying that about Hillary Clinton, but my point was saying with this is that if I'm a sexist because I don't want Hillary Clinton for president, well, I guess in 2012 I must have been a sexist because when Michelle Bachmann was running in the Republican primaries for president, I just thought she was the scariest person in the world that could potentially be president. Does that make me a sexist, or does it make me a sexist that Marjorie Taylor Greene down in Georgia, who is a racist, anti-Semitic asshole, that I want her kicked out of Congress because she actually urged and supported murdering politicians? Well, the thing about it is Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't actually kill anybody. Hillary Clinton did with her support for the Iraq War. Remember, Bernie Sanders voted against the Iraq War. So I'm fighting with people who didn't live in a reality on the far left when I was in the Socialist Party USA, and then I'm having to go and fight with people who are supposedly woke. That when it comes right down to policies, they're basically Republicans. They're Republicans who supports gay marriage and are pro-choice on abortion. That's all the corporate Democrats are. That's the only thing that separates them from the Republicans. Just socially liberal on a few safe issues. Thing about it is, Bernie Sanders, when he was all these years in Congress in the U.S. House of Representatives, he was a fighter. I do think that once he reached into the U.S. Senate in January 2007, he might have been slightly less in a fighting zeal, And but I still think he was a fighter to the point he was running for president in 2015, 2016. He was still a fighter. Something happened in 2020 after 2016 when he decided to make a second run for president. I'm talking about the primaries, which I'm trying to avoid, but is very it relates and is germane to the subject I'm trying to talk about. Bernie Sanders ran for president in 2019, 2020. This time, he not only played it safe, he played it too safe. On one hand, he wanted to be the Bernie Sanders that people like me loved about him. On the other hand, he wanted to acclimate himself to make himself look like he's just another Democrat. That didn't help his campaign. When he ran in 2016, he was different from your typical politician. He was a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. In 2020, he basically sounded just like maybe a slightly more progressive version of your typical Democrat running in that panel. That was problematic. It's just, and then during the primaries, and I think it's partly because he blamed himself for Hillary Clinton losing in 2016 and Donald Trump becoming president. Also, the empathy factor, and here's where I'm going to have a little sympathy for Bernie. The empathy factor, dealing with Joe Biden. I don't believe that Joe Biden himself cheated in the primaries. That blames this time goes to Barack Obama, who made the phone calls. And the blame goes to people like Jim Clyburn. And all the mainstream Democratic candidates that were gently pressured into dropping out because they were promised spots in a potential Joe Biden administration. And they conveniently left Elizabeth Warren alone so she could hurt Bernie Sanders in Massachusetts. And then Bernie Sanders, again, this is not Bernie Sanders' fault. It's not even Joe Biden's fault on this one. They were pretty much on friendly terms as U.S. senators before Joe Biden became vice president. What I heard is that Bernie Sanders felt like an outsider and that Joe Biden kind of said, hey, it's going to be okay. And all the newcomers are like this. And Bernie Sanders was different from the other senators for the most part. Somebody, he was even to the left of the late Paul Wellstone. And Joe Biden, whether you like him or dislike him as a politician, I kind of am on the ballpark of not liking him because I know of his policies. But apparently Joe Biden has a reputation of being very likable in his demeanor when you deal with him personally. And I think that's what it came down to. And also because he's less hateful in his demeanor than Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders decided not to be aggressive and take him out in the primaries like he needed to. But I'm not just angry with Bernie Sanders, even though I'm talking about Bernie Sanders. I'm angry he's voting for him, for Neera Tanden. But I'm also angry with Bernie Sanders' allies, the Justice Democrats. The Justice Democrats were founded to try to change the Democratic Party from within, to try to transform the Democratic Party from being Reagan light, where the Democratic Leadership Council in the 1980s and 1990s shifted or Reaganized the Democratic Party. They were trying to push the Democratic Party to becoming a quasi-labor party like it was once at one time. It was never officially a social democratic party. It was never officially a labor party, but it was a far more friendlier institution for people of that mindset than it has become later on. The Alexandra Rojas, the executive director of the Justice Democrats, defending Neera Tanden and saying on CNN why the Justice Democrats feel like they need to support Neera Tanden. And then to add insult to injury, alternative media, the Young Turks, they were supposed to be the real liberal media. Remember that? Yeah, because to the people who watches Fox News and talk radio and OAN and Newsmax, these people think that CNN is hard left. They think MSNBC is hard left. They think the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is hard left. TYT was supposed to be an alternative to that crap. And for many years, TYT was doing a great job. During the Obama years, they criticized Obama from the left. They had balls to criticize Obama from the left. In 2016, they were very enthusiastic with their support for Bernie Sanders. Now, I understand when Bernie Sanders dropped out that it was lesser evil time to support Hillary Clinton. I get it. But I also sided with Jimmy Dore when he was telling Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian how wrong they are to sit there to rely on Hillary Clinton. Now, granted, Jimmy Dore's not perfect. I prefer the Jimmy Dore 2016 to the Jimmy Dore 2021, but I prefer the Jimmy Dore of 2016 and 2021 to Cenk Uygur today and Anna Kasparian today. And Jimmy Dore was right with forced to vote. And then everybody shits on him for this. Now, I do think that Jimmy Dore's been harsh on Bernie Sanders all this time, harsh on AOC. But damn it, I think that maybe today he's right. Kyle Kulinski has been taking to task the Justice Democrats. He even got on AOC, who he's very close to with regard to this force to vote. And look what they did. They didn't even do the force to vote, and they still screw AOC over by denying her committee's assignments. Denying Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia her committee's assignments was fine. Even though I'd rather have her kicked out of Congress, she tried to overthrow the government. AOC was doing what she was elected to do, to serve the people in the fight for things like Medicare for all. I can't believe this. Every time, every few years, when the Democratic Party seemed hopeless, there's always a little sparkle of light of hope that the Democratic Party could change for the better. I remember the New Party in the 1990s. I remember talk of Paul Wellstone running for president. I remember the anti-war movement during the Iraq War, which seemed to started to push the Democratic Party into a better direction. So much so that I enthusiastically voted for the Democrats in 2006 for the first time in an enthusiastic way instead of as a lesser evil, even though I wasn't too happy with my choices in my state for federal office. The left wing of the Democratic Party ended up becoming pushovers. And I feel like progress has been taken away. Neera Tanden does not need the support of the left. As I said over and over again, Neera Tanden is a corporate Democrat. She opposes $15 an hour minimum wage. She is a union buster. She opposes Medicare for all. She supported stealing Libyan oil, which makes her no different from Donald Trump, who said that the United States should have stolen Iraqi oil. And she is an ally of Hillary Clinton and a fierce opponent of Bernie Sanders. And she absolutely despised the left wing of the Democratic Party. And then people like myself get pissed off and we're thinking, the Green Party's always the option. Can't do that. Movement for a People's Party. Oh, no, can't do that. A Labor Party. Labor Party? This is America. Are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. Not for that reason anyway. Hashtag never Neera. In fact, in spite of Bernie Sanders not going to vote against her, the fact that Bernie Sanders is going to vote for her, the fact that Justice Democrats it basically said it's imperative that she becomes OBM director, and the fact that Cenk Uygur, in my opinion, who lost his way, and the TYT lost their way, going to back Neera Tanden, just tells me that the American left are a bunch of pushovers. I mean, when right-wing Republicans ask for unreasonable things, establishment Republicans pull all the stops and go out of their way to accommodate them. When the left asks for just some basic changes that would make us more like other countries who are our allies, with neat things like healthcare for all, that's considered unreasonable. You're considered ideologically pure. What balderdash? What bullshit that is. I'm going to celebrate the demise of Neera Tanden. And it ain't often that I say thank you, Ted Cruz, or thank you, Mitch McConnell, or thank you, Tom Cotton, or thank you, Joe Manchin. But here I am saying that. And Neera Tanden does not need to be director of OBM. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you didn't, comment anyway. Share the content on this channel. It's a First Amendment absolutist. It's my duty to inform you that if you have a platform, please utilize it because we're the muckrakers of our time. Hit that subscription button, that notification bell. Keep informed. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace. Class struggle yesterday, class struggle today, class struggle tomorrow, and class struggle until we have full economic and social justice for all.